So what is the main function of the Secretary of State? Well, it says here that as the senior member of the president's cabinet, this individual is responsible for carrying out the president's foreign policy decisions and advising the president on issues of international concern. The secretary manages international crises and must be ready to respond to the unexpected anywhere in the world. That's right, critical, unexpected crises, like somebody using the word manpower. Oh, wait a second. Is that actually what they're supposed to... Let's look at the headline. Biden woke Secretary of State Antony Blinken scolded staffers over problematic language like manpower. Apparently, Blinken told staffers at the State Department not to use problematic terms such as manpower, mother, and father in a memo. You know, I've got to say, this just doesn't feel like an international crisis. And you have to wonder, does he really believe in all of this nonsense? Or is this just something, this is just the way the winds are blowing, and he's just going with it, regardless of how dysfunctional and just idiotic it appears to be. It says, according to a memo from the State Department obtained by the National Review, Blinken told staff about the dangers of misgendering, as well as using terms that can be problematic, such as manpower, as well as son, daughter, and husband, wife. I wonder if the words fall of Western civilization are also problematic. They are for me. Let's see, the terms preferred were words such as labor force, everyone, folks, you all, and parent, child, and spouse or partner. Instead, the memo stated. The note sent to staff was titled Modeling DEIA, Gender Identity Best Practices, and it might as well have been titled Welcome to the Maoist Cultural Revolution that has infected even the State Department. But you know what? It's not just the State Department, is it? Well, here's the Department of Defense Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. You might remember this charming recruitment ad.
It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms.
So there you have it. G.I. Jane, she's got two mummies. One of them, apparently, is Rachel Maddow. This story just came out about mandatory IRS diversity training, which includes material from a trans academic who called for, what else? The death of whiteness. It's all the rage. Says here that cultural inclusion is about justice. Kind of feels like that's actually the opposite of what it's about, but I like this one. How many more cultures do we have over last year? What, they're collecting cultures? What happens when they run out? Do we have to start reviving dead languages? The Department of Energy is not immune. Non-binary Biden nuclear official Sam Brinton fired after multiple luggage theft charges. If only there had been some way, had there been some red flag to alert the Department of Energy before they hired this person. I guess you just never know, do you? And of course, we all knew that NASA was this den of racism and bigotry and oppression. Thank God they finally got their DEI program. Finally, they can get that wheelchair ramp on the International Space Station. Oh, and don't forget the zero-G tampons for all the fellas. Maybe they can borrow some from the Canadian military. I'm sure Trudeau would hand over some of his own personal stash. Now, apparently Blinken sent out his note in order to, quote, increase understanding of gender identity and provide guidance on gender identity language and best practices that support an inclusive work environment. Adding further on the topics of gender, Blinken's note read that gender identity is the, quote, innermost concept of self as masculine, feminine, a blend of both, or neither. Now, aside from the fact that that is just pure, abstract gibberish, what does that have to do with international crises? I don't know. I gotta double check. Maybe he's the secretary of late-stage empire. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.